Greetings, another impromptu video, and sort of ironic in a way. I want to actually call out a YouTube channel for slightly misleading information. In defence of it at the same time, I also wish to say that it was from a place of maybe just being a bit too impetuous, and the channel is my own. In a recent video I mentioned and said I feel exactly the same way as the vet about events coming over the next couple of months, specifically January the 6th to February the 24th. Now, no fault of Lavette at all. What she's showing is quite correct. The fault is with me. I've straight away heard Mars, a fire sign, Aries, a fire sign. What have I done? I certainly haven't looked at the positive in that. I've straight away looked at the negative. I should know better than this. So I can't say apologise because it's a valuable lesson to myself to watch how this system programming is so deep. Because if I'm saying to you that Mars is in Aries and it's fire in fire and it's very unstable, that's sort of looking towards the fear and the negative. So fire, let's look at the positive aspect. It's cleansing, it's renewal, it's a spark of energy. So it can also, I think, can be seen as this that fire can be the collective consciousness, this what is called the awakening. So, and I am grateful to my friend Rocket for mentioning this and pointing this out. And yeah, see, this is the other thing. It's not taking it personally, because it's like, listen to what this other person's saying, what they've seen that I've failed to see. Because I don't have all the answers. And it's so easy to fall into these system program traps and just look at things in one way. I've made a few notes this time, so I'm grateful to that, and I hope that is also a sort of really good illustration of when we've got this information, to really look at it from all angles. I mean, I preach this, but clearly in this time I didn't do it, did I? So, but lesson learned, and I mean, the intent is still the same. It's still with good intentions, but I need to go within and look at that. I was thinking also about this whole idea of we are individual personifications of the Creator. And what I see in this is, it's like neural pathways, thoughts, the way they show all these electrical impulses. Each one of those is us individually. Because can you see your spiritual path, or which way it's going and where it's leading? Is it clear, or are you just going with the flow with it? Because I know I am. No pun in, and yes, pun intended as well, because Creator, Janus, two-faced God, two aspects to everything in duality, isn't there? Yeah, so I've mentioned before about this being like a whodunit, a Cluedo, a giant game of Cluedo. So a little bit of etymology with this. Well, the clue is do. So what do you do? You are being human. Be in G. Be in God. Be in the Creator. Realise that you are the I am in a personalised form. So this came from sort of a meditation earlier. Being and Cluedo, like that. And again, perfect illustration. You form an idea. Well, you're giving a shape to it from a thought. I'm also informing, so I've got to be careful what I think to what I inform, because if I'm saying, oh, we're in for a terrible time and Mars is a fire sign and it's in the house of Aries, which is fire, and we're in for a rough ride, what is that thought creating in you? So again, I offer my repentance on that and look at the positive. Because all these planetary aspects have a duality in meaning anyway. It follows that same pattern. It's an aspect as perceived with the two eyes. So it's as picked as well, with the little vowel shift coming in there. An aspect is as picked. It's how you choose to see something. So yeah, it's to see the whole picture is making a circuit. So you need the positive and the negative. And I do want to go off on a little side note here, going back to a subject that came in quite early on in my sort of questioning the reality, as it were, and that's the whole subject of RH negative and RH positive. Because I've always wondered why we have these terms positive and negative in the sense of blood, and you can also see the system programming comes out in that, in the holier than thou, my blood group is better than your blood group, and we're the chosen ones, we're the worthy ones because we're the rarest blood group, or we're the most numerous blood group, or all the elites are all of that blood group, and so on and so on, and it's all divide and conquer yet again. I'd say the simplest explanation for this is no different from if we look at the Creator's creation, as in the computer, you could say. You've got restore factory settings. I would say actually the negative blood, from personal experience with this and from talking to different people, that RH negative is closer to, like, shall we say, the original program. That is not to say that people with RH positive are inferior at all. There is probably just as many RH positives who are aware and awake to varying degrees as there are RH negatives. Percentage-wise, if we can go with all the figures, there's a greater percentage of RH negative. But restore factory settings, I'm certain within this DNA that we will contain a lot of things that are not switched on quite yet, that with maybe restore factory settings within us. It'd be interesting to speculate whether that chromosome 2 could be pulled apart and put back into original form. What potential wonders could there be like that? Whether it would be right or wrong, that's open to interpretation. I have no opinion one way or the other, really, because it's only just sort of, that thought has only just come as I'm making this video. I also wanted to pick up on, with the etymology and the vowel shift, with what Levette was saying about Jupiter and Mercury, which represent religion and commerce, the two pillars, as being only at the mutable cross, the adept level. Well, adept, again, vowel shift, adept, adapt. If something lacks creativity and can only adapt an existing something, I think that gives you the level of what is sort of running the particle reality, this physical realm. And it's almost mirroring what the way David Icke said it, as the reptilian can't, you give them a blank piece of paper, they can't create anything, but they can give them an existing idea, they can manipulate and twist. And my perception of how this reality is conforms with, that's the way things have done on every level, every aspect that affects our lives from this external. Everything that is outside us seems to be twisted, adapted from its original creation, I think it's fair to say. But it's also interesting that Levett mentioned about Jupiter is the two Arabic words associated with it, which basically means mystery or my story, which is where you get mystery schools, and Nibiru. And I sort of looked as I sort of making these notes, and the array of you, in some ways is more or less how I'm seeing the breakdown of Nibiru. But it would make sense that we contain all these aspects that are affiliated to everything, and its duality is equally true about the micro to the macro, as above so below, you could say. And again, the etymology with the macro and the micro, well, in front of the crow it's prefixed with MA, with macro, magnetism and electricity, MA to ME with a vowel shift again, or it's it's magnetism and it's I, and when it's in the micro, the within oneself aspect. But going back again to this whole fire and fire thing, there's that saying about God-given gift, use your God-given gifts. Well, with the plan of creation, what would be the God-given gift? Well, that must be creativity, if you're a co-creator, and which is therefore imagination, because it's where every thought first begins. And it's those thoughts that sort of come into your mind. Where did they come from? They've appeared. It's the magic, it's the creator, the idea, the I, deity, energy of ether. Which neatly brings me on to this last point. And it's very interesting when you start looking at words and those silent letters. Take the word whole. There's a W at the front of that, but you don't, unless it's written, you don't see it, and you certainly don't hear it. Well, let's think about Aquarius. It's an air sign. What if it's an air with a silent H? Because what is hidden from the H, the human, is that we are the heirs. This is rightfully ours, but it has this mischievous opposition program, this anti-nature program running at the same time. So again, playing with this word air to hair, well, hair is also here. Well, if it's here, then it must be now. It must be present. It must be in the presence of a present being. I mean, I could express it as G is us. Jesus, God is us. Be in God, being. It's that silver thread that runs through everything. I would say from personal experience, whatever you've looked at externally, if everything is all clicking into place like cogs of Ezekiel's wheels, and it's like, right, I've looked at astrology, that bit I've got, now I've looked at this, that, oh yeah, that fits with that. I've listened to the lectures and the writings of people like Neville Goddard, and in our current time, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and it's like, wow, this is saying the same message. I'm listening to other channels, and I'm hearing words like imagination and creativity, and some of them, to me, it's frustrating. It's like I'll leave a comment, and it's like you're just round the edge of the eye of going into, shall we say, to the interior of the earth. You're going in yourself. It's like you're saying imagination, just go that little bit further, and because you're saying all the right answers. And I'm seeing this across so many channels, regardless of what that exterior is showing. Just look at the way this thought wave, because it is in the air, it's in the atoms, it's surfing on the right currents, picking up on it. It's these synchronized thoughts is these thought currents, and we've now got a sort of an upgrade going on where the radio dial has now got more than one marker, but these transmissions are not coming through distorted. They're coming through distinct and clear. Going back to my experience of doing that 3-day into the silence, the water fast and meditation, by day 3 it was very much a case of things seem very clear, and it's been pointed out that, and I'm pretty certain if I looked at one of my earliest videos I'd be quite horrified, and I would notice my own language is changing, because I'm noticing it in other people, and if I say anything that is not giving you a positive, if I mention something that has a negative aspect, which obviously everything does, that do point it out to me. I'm not going to be offended. I'm not going to take it personally. I want to know, because we learn by the mistakes. So yeah, I think that's covered all the points. I was thinking earlier, what a good thing we're in this sort of agreed a calendar year of 2020 still. It's like, well, that would be a good start to the year to make a video. I said I got it wrong, but no, I'm pleased with the way everything is working out, and I have created an entire scene, an entire place in my mind, and it's very interesting in a conversation yesterday that obviously that's on a thought wave, because though the finer details of everything haven't been discussed, the overall and remembering of the future and how things are, the direction they're going, is definitely a collective consciousness. And I think we're going to see, shall we say, a Schumann spike of this. Maybe that's what the Schumann resonance could be. I don't know. It's not something I've really looked into. It's a graph, and you get these spikes and that happen at certain times. Maybe it is measuring some sort of positive blast of collective consciousness. There goes the AI. I forgot to take the phone out. But smiling, not annoyed by it. But yeah, I've pretty much covered all I want to say. What are we up to here? Just over 20 minutes. So yeah, I like to try and keep them at 20 minutes because there's a lot, and it is worth. Same with the meditation. It's worth going back over a video again if it's something that appeals to you, and fully absorb it if it feels right to you, and think, yeah, I like what that person's saying, I like what that channel's saying, but I want to really get it clear at a conceptual level, and then if it feels right and it's something I want to take active steps and put action into it as well, then I may listen to it a third time to really get the full grasp of it in myself, so I feel confident. It's no different really from whether you're walking or whether you're being granted a license to drive a car, because you've got the confidence and you've done the practice and reached a certain standard that satisfies. I'm not getting into the rights or wrongs of anything with the system on that, but it's an everyday experience, I think, that most of us go through with learning to drive. So this is why I use it quite a lot. But it's all about use the everyday things in explaining the spiritual. That's all I try and do, really, and talk from personal experience, because that is the only thing I can really give you testimony to. Make of it what you will, take of it what you will. The intention behind it is that we create something better than we've got at the moment. I mean, the basic nature program is wonderful. There's beauty in it, in everything. And it's just a few things that need tweaking with the system that could be done a lot better, I think. It would be a sort of a kindest way of saying it, without dwelling on the negatives of it all, because externally you can see that everywhere if you want to see it. But it's all, yeah, the overlying theme is the overriding theme. See, watch my words, not underlying. We don't want that. We don't want any lying going underneath. The bigger picture that we want to see is something that we can put our imagination and create something better than it is now, really, I think is the fairest way to say it. So I'm waffling a bit here, and we've now gone up to 23 minutes, so let's make something out of the numbers, shall we? Anyway, I will leave that there, and there's bound to be more, well, you know there'll be more videos. Who am I trying to kid if I say there isn't? But have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing, whatever time of day it is. And hopefully this has given you something positive. And next task will be, I will go through all the wonderful comments, and that is very much appreciated. And I will start replying. Homework time. But I do appreciate that you've taken the time to listen to me, and I will do the same courtesy if you have a channel, if you let me know as well, because we learn from each other. We're individual. This is the whole thing with this age of Aquarius. We're individual, but collectively we're in agreement, we're going in the same direction. That's all that matters. It's taking out the conflict, taking out the divide and conquer aspects out of everything. And I mean, basically, even in this, it is all like in a sleep state of basic external function. I think it's fair to say that most people just want to get on and be happy, really, and have sufficient of things in their lives, not so much that they don't actually need,